let's talk about the new MCU series, Ironheart. Every dream has a cost. Genius inventor Riri Williams returns to Chicago, where she meets Parker Robbins, the Hood. And I have to say, with this series, it was amazing. It was better than I expected it to be, because with this, we do see like more of the Iron Man side of the MCU start to mix with the Doctor Strange side of the MCU. And I thought that was very interesting. We explore Riri Williams, played by Dominique Thorne, and she was perfect in the role, as this takes place some months after Wakanda Forever. As in a way, this is a bit of a tragedy for the character, because we see the character be kicked out of MIT and start to make some decisions that might affect her and others around her. And I do believe that it explored that very well, as long as it's exploring the character, exploring how smart she is, and what is driving her, what is affecting her. One of the best parts of the season was her dynamic with Natalie, who was her best friend, her AI now. Also with this season, we do get Parker Robbins, aka the Hood, in the MCU, played by Anthony Ramos, and Anthony Ramos was great in the role. Anthony Ramos was a great addition to the MCU, as the dude was a menace as the Hood at times. It was cool to see a bit more of this darker side of the MCU that was introduced with the character. Some minor spoilers here, but we do get Alden Ehrenreich as Ezekiel Stane, Obadiah Stane's son. And what it explored with that was very interesting, giving us insight on like how they covered up Obadiah Stane's death. Seeing how it's affecting Ezekiel and all that, because they see Obadiah Stane as a hero, even though the dude tried to kill Tony Stark. But like exploring that, introducing elements from Iron Man with that was pretty cool. And really the rest of the characters was great, whether it was like the crewmate, Riri's mom, and even Zelma Staten, just led to great character moments. Another spoiler alert here, but finally, after several years of theories and all that on when this character could show up, we finally get introduced to Mephisto in this. Sacha Baron Cohen, Borat himself, portrays Mephisto. We see him in his human form and what Baron Cohen did in the role. As this was an introduction to the character, but with what Baron Cohen did in the role, I just haven't felt this suspense since He Who Remains in Loki Season 1. With Mephisto now fully in the MCU after being teased, I do wonder when we could get a bit more of that supernatural side and possibly see Ghost Rider be in the bigger MCU. Even though we already got him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but when can we get either Gabriel Luna back as Robbie Reyes, or maybe Norman Reedus as Johnny Blaze, or hey, even Ryan Gosling as Johnny Blaze, one of them. I'm not gonna lie, I just want to see Johnny Blaze in the MCU. There is a lot they can do with Mephisto, but with the Ironheart series, what they did with this was amazing. It felt a little bit more grounded, a little bit more realism in it, as I believe executive producer Ryan Coogler, who directed the Black Panther films, talked about how they took a bit of inspiration from the original Daredevil series when it came for it to be a bit grounded, and it does so. I do want to mention that you can tell that Ryan Coogler had an influence in this series. As with this, it takes place in Chicago, and I thought that was a very interesting decision. I do wish that it could have explored a little bit more of Chicago, but it was still pretty cool to see a different location in the MCU that isn't New York City. And just the action in this, the Iron Suit action, that was pretty cool, especially in the final 3 episodes. And just how the Iron Suit looked. We pretty much see 3 suits, 2 suits. Riri Williams' Iron Suits in this just looked amazing. I do believe that they had some practical suits on set for this, but with how the suits looked, it looked great. What's interesting about this series was that it blends the Doctor Strange side of the MCU and the Iron Man side of the MCU together for this. And I do think that it worked perfectly well. It was great to see more of these both sides. And this exploring the story of Riri Williams, I do believe it did that great. And with how this season ended, I know they were only planning for 1 season, but just with how it ended, it's okay, we're getting a season 2 soon, right? And I have to admit, I hope that there's a season 2. I am very interested in the character of Ironheart, and I hope that they do more with her. Whether if it's in a future Marvel project like Armor Wars, if that ever happens. Seems like it could kind of set up for that. And while I did enjoy this series, I do think that there could have been a little bit more, especially with the final episode, but it wasn't rushed. It was still a pretty good final episode that wrapped up the season. But with the Ironheart series, with season 1, if this is actually season 1, I thought that this was a great series, a great addition to the MCU, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected I would. I hope they do more with the character soon. But have you seen Ironheart? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below and follow me for more.